There was more to the broken video. So, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. So, the message was that it is impossible for you to be broken. That is just a perception that you've chosen for this lifetime, that you are broken, that you cannot be repaired. Actually, that was reminding me of the Japanese. And I saw this documentary once that when something breaks, like say, for example, you have a beautiful vase, right? Porcelain vase, and it breaks. What they do is they repair it. They put it back together. And then those parts, where the cracks are, they'll put gold or they'll put something to accentuate those cracks. It's almost like accentuating your scars, if you like. Those scars are what make you, and what make you unique. We've learnt to see scars as flaws, as ugly. But what if it's the opposite? What if they make you even more beautiful? Because only you have that scar in that place, the way it is. So the other thing that wanted to come through with the broken message, that you cannot be broken, it's impossible. We see ourselves as broken, or we don't belong, or we don't fit in, when we see ourselves as separate from spirit. When you see yourself as separate is when you go through this experience of, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me that I can't be loved. There's something wrong with me that I don't fit in. There's something wrong with me. And it all comes down to, because I believe I'm separate from spirit. The belief is so strong that you are here all alone on this journey, doing this all by yourself. You've been left here. But you are spirit. It's not that you're, if you take away that whole image that we were taught in church, that God is all the way up there, sitting on his throne, waiting for judgment day. See, there they already create the illusion, the visual illusion of separation. It's this old man in the sky. It's a separate being. We see him like we see our partner, we see our children as separate bodies, physical bodies, separate. Visually, they look separate in their little physical bodies. We all do. We see the table is separate. We see everything is separate from us. But energetically, there is no separation. It's exactly like the wave in the ocean. And that's why so many people use that analogy. The wave, as much as it comes out of the ocean and looks amazing, you have these huge, tall waves. It never separates from the ocean. And then the most important part is that no matter how big that wave gets, no matter how tall, no matter how much it looks like it's separate from the ocean, it is still the ocean. It is still it. Because even though we have the concept that we are spirit, many have the idea that we are a part of, we're a spark. But we are spirit. One day I had this incredible awareness. I was following this little thread, which I do sometimes, when something comes up, like an anger or something, and I'll be like, I'll follow it. Okay, there's the anger here. Why is this anger here? And then I sit with the anger. And one day I was coaching with a coach. We're doing lots of practice sessions with these coaches. And it just came out that I was looking at the beautiful courses that I'd created. And so it kept going back and back and back to, okay, what's the real root of it, of what's going on here? And so what was happening was, this was what was coming up in that moment. I'm trying to recall the exact words, but the gist of it was, what if nobody wants the courses? What if nobody does the courses? And I've created all of this for nothing. Then what was the thought, right? Then what? What does that say about me? Was basically where it was going. And as I was digging into the courses, the books, everything that Spirit has asked me to create so far, and I was really looking into it, and I'm thinking, well, okay, what's holding me back from moving forward with all of this that I know is incredible, because it's completely changed my life, forever. There's no going back. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, Once you awaken, you can't go back to sleep. It's just this beautiful process. But then the magic happened. It always comes down to us, And what came out was, what if people think that the books are worthless? What if people think that the courses are worthless? And then, ding, the light bulb. What's that saying? It's saying that I'm worthless. There was still that belief in my system. Wait a minute. But if I've done all of this and people don't want it and people saying it's worthless, what they're really saying is that I'm worthless. I'm not worthy. So I wanted to share that for anyone that's sitting in that space of, what if I'm doing all of this and it's not appreciated? What if I'm doing all of this and it's not? Again, like the sun, it comes up every day, whether you appreciate it or not, whether you have food on the table or not. No matter what your struggles are, that sun doesn't stop rising every morning and setting every evening. That is love in motion every single day. Now, for a few years, when I started receiving the books and then I received the courses, I would always say, oh, it was a download that came from Spirit. And I kept seeing it as something separate from myself. I kept seeing it as, oh, it's coming from somewhere else. Because in my mind, if it came from Spirit, if it was a download, it was more valuable than if it just came from me. If it came from me, I'm just a person. I'm just a human. But we forget. Yes, we are human. We are having this glorious human experience, but we never, ever, ever stop being the ocean. No matter how big a wave we become or how small a wave, we are still the ocean. We are still Spirit. So everything that comes through, lately it feels even more special, because I am allowing Spirit to express itself through me. I'm going to say that again for those of you who didn't hear it the first time. I'm allowing Spirit to express itself through me. Just as Spirit expresses itself through the rose, through its beautiful scent, through its colors. Just as Spirit expresses itself through the sun, it gives you its warmth, It gives you its light. Here I am, expressing myself as spirit, my light, my warmth. You are an expression of spirit. All of you. You are an expression of it, whether you know it or not. You are spirit, expressing itself in this world. Just letting you sit with it because it's such a big thing that's come through. When you do something, you create something and you're saying that no one's going to want it, it's not good enough, it always comes down to you. You're saying that you're not good enough. It's not that people won't want it, they won't want you. You're the one that'll be rejected. But I know within my heart, just as I have found others when I needed them. When I was in my early 20s, I stumbled across the Conversation with God books. I began reading them and my mind was blown. And for a lot of that information, I still wasn't ready. Not quite yet. But I read them and I read them and I read them over and over. Because I knew there was something there waiting to be released. But the truth was, I wasn't done with my human experience yet. I hadn't gone through my IVF. I hadn't gone through my period where I was going to be mean to other people through my words. And how I was going to understand what that feels like. When you're in so much pain, you're so angry that you just want to hurt everybody with your words. I hadn't gone through that yet. See, there's so many things that we go through. It's just for us to be aware. Oh, that's how that happens. That's how people are cruel to others, because they're suffering inside. Not because they're happy and joyful and, oh, my life's a rainbow, that I'm going to be mean to this person today. It doesn't work that way. And when you can see it in yourself, you begin to see it everywhere. You see it in others straight away. When you can see in yourself that what you say is what you are being, then you begin to see it in others. I remember when I first started having my awakening, after my daughter was born and I was starting to write the first book, Your Past is a Gift, which is my autobiography. I remember one day my husband came to say something to me. I can't remember what it was, but I remember the discussion. And I was having this out-of-body experience. I'm like, what is going on today? I'm seeing myself and him outside of our bodies and I'm floating up above watching him go on having this rant. And the whole time he's having this rant, I'm like, oh my God, this whole time this has been about you. It's got nothing to do with me. This has been about you, what you've been trying to say. That you don't feel heard, that you don't feel acknowledged, that you don't feel, I get it. I so get it. Because for such a long time, because of all the beliefs I had taken on about myself, I was so dismissive of others, so dismissive of their feelings, of them. Just, you don't matter. Because that's how I felt. I felt like I didn't matter. So of course you don't matter, and you don't matter, and nobody matters. Because I don't matter. And that's how spirit was experiencing life through me. When you don't matter. So of course that lady at the playgroup was going to treat me that way, that I don't matter, because that's what I was being at the time. I didn't matter. I wasn't valuable. So if I'm not valuable, why would I treat you like you're valuable? Or anyone else that way? So, my beautiful beings, how is this resonating with you today? Are you starting to see patterns, see within you, things that you do, things that you say, and you realize, oh, I'm treating others that way because that's how I'm feeling inside. That's what this is all about. That's how I'm feeling inside about myself. The truth of the Course is what it came down to was that people weren't going to think they were valuable because underneath it, I didn't feel that I was valuable. Until I realized I am spirit expressing itself in this world. And then that was it. It has nothing to do with value. It has nothing to do with being worthy. It's oh, this is just me being that rose blooming in the garden because I can. And whether someone notices or not, doesn't matter. The rose doesn't bloom because someone's going to bend down and smell it. It doesn't bloom because someone's going to notice how beautiful it is. It's going to admire its beautiful colors. The rose blooms because it can. It's that simple, because it's an expression of spirit. It doesn't bloom for admiration. It doesn't bloom because it's valuable or worthy of your love. I know for me, I have found information when I've needed it. You know, whether it's been through the Conversations with God books, whether it's been through Louise Hay's books, Wayne Dyer, I love his books. Even, you know, through Rhonda Byrne and The Secret and all the books she's created, The Magic, which is all about gratitude. When I've needed information, I have found it. Because I put it there. I knew that when I got to that point in my life, I was going to need that information to get me to the next level, if you like. If you want to think of it as a game, it's to move me to the next level, and then the next level, and then the next level. So I know I am here because you put me here. You were going to need these messages for your next level, for you to awaken and be aware. I know when I started awakening, it felt like such a lonely journey. I had no one to talk to. I was going through something completely new, and I just had no one to talk to about it. You know, the people around me weren't going to understand it. They weren't awakening with me. They were on a completely different journey. And I was on that path for about a good 5 or 6 years before I started to find people that were on the same path. Again, I had placed them on my path. I put them there that I would have them at that point in my life for this next level. Nothing is coincidence. Nothing is an accident. You're not here by accident on this channel. You put me here. You, Spirit, put me, Spirit, here in this moment that we would find each other. My beautiful beings. I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And we'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye for now.